By 1983, Gaye's mental health was in a shockingly bad condition. He'd always suffered from stage fright and bouts of self-doubt, but his drug use had exacerbated these issues. On top of this, he actually was receiving several death threats similar to many celebrities of his stature, but the real threats were being filtered through a prism of his own cocaine and PCP-fueled delusions. On April 1st, 1984, against the backdrop of rising family tensions over his tumultuous personal life, Marvin Gaye was shot twice in the chest by his own father after an altercation in the singer's home in the West Adams neighborhood of Los Angeles. The .38 caliber revolver Marvin Gaye Sr. used to fire the fatal shots was actually a Christmas gift from his son. Some of the descriptions from people who knew Marvin at the time do consider this sort of a suicide by cop situation, only with his father, who was known to have this violent temper. The tensions were very high in the house.
I don't know how that plays out in court, right? You have a party you have this allegation that he knew how dangerous I was. Therefore, by coming at me, he must have known there was a risk of death.
Right.
What a bizarre defense that is to a case.
There is a dark side to the legendary soul artist Marvin Gaye, filled with a history of abuse and pedophilia. Marvin fathered a child by his wife, Anna Gordy's 15-year-old niece. To keep this a secret, Anna faked her own pregnancy. They raised Marvin III as their own, and he grew up believing his mom was his cousin. Marvin met 17-year-old Jan Hunter when he was 34 and still married to Anna. Throughout Marvin and Jan's 8-year relationship, he was abusive. Marvin forced Jan to have sex with other couples and other men for his own enjoyment. Even though it was his idea, he would get extremely jealous and accuse her of cheating on him after the fact. When Jan gave birth to their first child, Marvin hated her body changes. He criticized her stretch marks and sagging breasts. He confessed that he loved her as the mother of his child, but was no longer in love with her. This created insecurities and resentment from Jan. It led to her having an affair with Frankie Beverly and Teddy Pendergrass, who Marvin considered his rival. One day, in a jealous rage and high on drugs, Marvin put a knife to Jan's throat and threatened to kill her. This was Jan's breaking point. She left Marvin and filed for divorce in 1981. Marvin died 3 years later in 1984 after being shot by his own father, Marvin Sr. It was said by Jan that she and Marvin were reconciling their relationship before his death. Jan passed away recently, back in December. She was 66.